you watch the video, we want to let you know a few things.
A couple things.
Number one, we are not professionals.
We're not, so don't judge us.
We don't do this for a living. We don't go to school for this.
No, we don't.
are just 14 siblings / cousins who are trying to learn and grow and give you guys the same information that we are getting on these interviews.
Yes.
We're not just interviewing for you guys. We're interviewing for us. So we might say things that don't make sense and be like,
you're a little wrong about that one, Billy.
But we're learning.
Yes, we are.
And we want you guys to learn with us. Second, the brands that we are representing are not sponsoring us. We are doing this so that those brands can see us and will sponsor us.
We're putting ourselves out there, okay?
These are brands that we believe in, that we support, and that we love. And so we just wanted to be comical, but also get that recognition from those same brands.
Yes.
And again, shout out to Progress House for sponsoring this whole idea.
Love you guys.
Business.
Yes.
And that's it. Hope you enjoyed the video. What's up, everyone, and welcome to the
Billionaires Club.
I'm Monique.
I'm Malachi.
I'm Judah.
And I'm Zion.
And we are the members of the Billionaires Club. As you can see, last week we were wearing Champions, and now we are representing one of the best companies, Disney. I had to be a little, what is it? I don't even know what it's called. Gucci,
Extra?
whatever. It's fine. It's whatever.
Extra with the headband.
Kind of extra. It's just
and the
called
shirt.
being cool. What are you guys wearing?
I got a Mickey Mouse hat. I don't know if you
looks
can
fire.
see that in the camera.
Okay.
Yes, sir. You know me, walk. Wow, can't speak at all. School did not help me. Just the drip with the hoodie. You feel me? The Mickey on me. Oh my gosh, it's fly. What about you, Zion? What are you doing?
I have handpicked Malachi Mickey Mouse ears, and they sparkle in the light. So
Wow, that looks special.
yeah, you picked them, handpicked.
Yeah, I'm glad I did. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Today in the stock market, Bitcoin hovers over $33,000 in revenue, as well as for the past 2 weeks, at least 800 Americans have filed for unemployment. On top of that, Dow is hoping for a new stimulus check as Democrats are in position to win the Georgia Senate. Now for the two stocks that Monique and Zion will be debating about. First up, Netflix. Netflix was founded in 1997. The CEO's name is Reed Hastings. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. When it went public, it first went public for $15, and studies show that employees like working there. Next up, Disney Plus, which is Monique's stock. Disney CEO is Robert Chapek. It was founded in 1923, and Disney Plus was founded in 2019. The amusement parks, the people there do not get paid well, but in 2018 they were nominated for the best one of the best places to work. However, the streaming services, people do like working there.
All right. So as you can see now, we have our special guest in. But before we get into the interview, we got to get to probably the most exciting thing is the debate. All right. So as you heard from Judah, I have Disney Plus. She has Netflix. She is Zion, the only other she here. And so I'm going to start it off. All right. So let's just get in. Disney Plus is cheaper than Netflix, right? All right. Just stay with me. Disney Plus is $6.99 per month, $70 per year. Okay. Netflix is $8.99, and that's just their beginner. That's just their beginner thing, right? All right. Netflix does have more content. I'm not going to lie. It has more edgier content. If you want that more adult content, the more movie, PG-13 rated R, you want to just, slide in there with that. Or if you got kids or if you are a kid, Disney Plus might be the way to go. There's more wholesome content, more family-friendly content, right? Disney Plus has all the nostalgia when it comes to TV shows and movies. All of those movies from your childhood, those TV shows, Bob the Builder, Hannah Montana, Lizzie McGuire, Austin and Ally, Jesse. Oh man, you don't get me started. It's got all the nostalgia when it comes to High School Musical, my favorite Disney movie of all time. All right. It also, Disney Plus has all of these franchises, right? It has ESPN, it has Fox, it has Marvel. Okay. Netflix used to have Marvel, like all of those Spider-Mans, the Iron Mans, but then they took them off and put them on to Disney Plus. So it has all those Marvel. There's new TV shows that are coming out this year, which should be pretty interesting and exciting. And then it also has Star Wars. There's huge Star Wars fans. I know our special guest is also a huge Star Wars fan. Try not to be too biased about that. I know it's going to be hard to deny that, but there's the Mandalorian. Who doesn't love Baby Yoda, which I heard maybe isn't Baby Yoda. All right, I'm not going to spoil it for you guys. All right, and then it also has Nat Geo Wild. I don't know why you would want to watch that, but you know, it's there. It's there if you want it. And yeah, Netflix doesn't have all those franchises. It might have a few. The Office, which is getting taken off this year. It might have all of these, some different shows, but where you gotta go is Disney Plus. If you're gonna spend your money, spend it on Disney Plus. That's it. That's all I have to say. Zion, you can go. I don't know why you wanted me to go first, but go ahead.
All right. So yes, Disney Plus has all of that stuff she was talking about, Hannah Montana, all that stuff, but I'm just gonna get straight to the point. Netflix has my most favorite show in the world. So let me go ahead and take this off. Let me take off this. And you can see I came with the shirt, okay? Stranger Things. So by showing you that shirt, I can move on by saying Netflix originals get very popular. Netflix originals can hit the top so easily, just like my favorite show in the world, Stranger Things. And just like a new show I started watching, Cobra Kai, just got on Netflix. And that show is also very popular on Netflix. Now, I'm not saying Disney Plus shows aren't popular, like Monique was saying. Yeah, those are kind of like childhood shows. But Disney Plus shows were on Netflix. And that how shows Disney Plus was probably afraid of Netflix because they were making so much money that they had their shows on there. They had to go move them to Disney Plus. Netflix was going to be so big if they would have moved Disney Plus. That's why I find Netflix is better. Now, Disney is a bigger company than Netflix, hands down. But that doesn't make it a better company. We've learned about that before. So, Disney Plus also has, the water, the Disney parks, and all that stuff. If you have a kid, you might want to go there. But then by the end of the day, you got a headache and got a migraine. You wish you were back home and wish you were watching Netflix, which has not just, many of you saying it has older PG-13 types of shows, which is true, but it also has a kick session. My sister, she's 7-year-old. She clicks on Netflix every day. She clicks on Disney Plus, never. I've never seen her watch anything on Disney Plus, and she's the new generation. She rather play Minecraft than click on Disney Plus. Rather play Roblox and click on Disney Plus. Never seen her click on Disney Plus, unless like we're watching a family movie, which Disney Plus is good for that, but I still think Netflix is a better company. Now, I think even if you can make a little bit more money than you'd be making on Disney, Netflix is still a better way to go. If you love Netflix, like me, if you even do like Disney Plus, you have to find a connection to which one you like. And I find a connection to Netflix, which I'm happy Judah gave me it. No offense to Disney. I have no hate to Disney, but personally, Netflix is a better company.
All right, so those are our first arguments. I just want to take 30 seconds to close, give you my last final, my opinions. Okay, yes, Netflix is great, honestly. I mean, it's amazing. It's content for the young and for the old. But honestly, we're all wearing Disney. I got Disney everything. You're never going to steer away from Disney, okay? Yes, you might have Netflix playing on in the background, but Disney is where it's at. Let me just say Star Wars. Let's not forget Star Wars. The Mandalorian is on Disney Plus. Netflix has great original content. I love all of the original TV shows from Netflix, but Star Wars, Marvel, nostalgia TV shows and movies. That's all I have to say. Zion, if you want to close it out, you can.
Yeah, I'm going to go ahead and say my last point. Disney can only rely on their older shows for a period of time. If you actually pay attention, all of Disney's newer shows have not been doing good. There's Star Wars. There's so many memes on the new Star Wars. I refuse to watch any of the new ones because they're not good. Netflix new shows, I'm just going to keep holding this up. Netflix new shows are doing very great. So I get it. Disney Plus has Princess and the Frog, whatever, but it can't rely on that for that long. It can only rely on it for a certain period of time, and you can't keep falling back on that. So that is my ending point.
All right. So, I mean, I could talk. I'm done. All right. So that's the end of our debate. You're going to have to wait until the end of the episode to find out who wins. So Malachi, let's introduce our special guest and let's get into the interview.
Well, so our special guest that we have on for our first episode is none other than Mr. Christopher Davison. The thing about him, why he is one of our first guests, is because he taught me and Monique the first things about stocks. You know, we did not know and not one thing about stocks until he came in and just showed us everything about the stock market. He introduced us into it. This is also Judas and Zion's uncle. So I don't know whether to call him uncle. We're still working on that. We're still working on that.
We can do it like everybody calls Snoop Uncle Snoop. So
that's Uncle C. Uncle C. Okay.
There you go.
Uncle C. So this is none other than Uncle C. And yeah, we're gonna be interviewing you. And yeah.
Look, I'm happy to be here, feeling blessed to be here. You know, I'm looking at you guys well on your journey to becoming multimillionaires. I like that the name of your show is Billionaires in there. That really got me excited. I'm like, okay, they're really ready to do some big things. So I'm excited to be here. I love the debate. I have some feelings on the debate, that I'm gonna share, but I'm looking forward to talking to you guys today.
Yes, sir. So let's hop straight into it. I'm gonna ask you a couple questions. I mean, that's what you do in an interview. Okay, so I'm gonna ask you a question. And then, yeah, so the first question that I have for you, or what we have for you, is what is your investment story? How did you get into investing and where are you at now?
That's an interesting question. Growing up, I used to kind of sneak and watch soap operas that my mom was watching at the time. So All My Children, Dallas, those were popular shows, J.R. Ewing, Adam Chandler. And on those shows, they were always talking about investing, buying companies, owning stock, taking over companies, through buyouts. And that really caught my attention. As a young kid, I saw stock as a way of gaining power, empowering myself, putting myself in a situation where I could have some say-so. So that really caught my interest. And over the years, I might be at the bookstore and maybe read a little article on a stock, read a little article at the bookstore on how do you invest. But I never had money to invest until I didn't buy my first mutual fund until I started working years ago at my first job out of college, and then was enrolled into a 401k. So at 22 was when my journey officially started. But when it kicked into high gear was probably 3 years later, right around 2026 is when I jumped into individual stocks. Prior to that, I had an interest in individual stocks, but I didn't feel like I still had the knowledge. So I spent a lot of time talking to people at work about what are they doing? What are they investing in? And kind of built up my knowledge to jump into the market. And so that was kind of the start of my journey. I still consider myself in the early stages. I'm still learning. You can never stop learning in this game, or you are going to lose a lot of money. So I see myself investing, until it's time for me to check out, so to speak. I'm always going to have a portfolio on some level, and I'm a big believer in generational wealth. So I would love to leave money to my kids, maybe leave a little taste to my niece and nephew. That's important as well.
Yeah, thank you, Uncle. Yeah, I would love some
Yeah,
change.
I'm
I would
okay
love
with
that.
that.
I love that. There was one thing that you said in the beginning. You were saying like it was the shows that kind of got you into the stock market, and that's crazy because it's believe. Think about it. I would like think like it would be the people like, hey, you should learn stocks and you should do that. But to see that it was shows, and how shows imported things like that. At such an early age in your life, like when did you like really start doing stocks, like at what age, if you can remember?
In terms of just following stocks, or in terms of the just initial money?
No, more so in the terms of like learning about the stock market and hearing about it.
Oh, probably 7 years old. When I was 7 years old, 7 to 8, somewhere in that ballpark, I can remember, being at a brokerage house. Back in the day, Sears used to have brokerages in them. So I can remember going into a brokerage and trying to approach an adult there and finding out, what do I need to invest in the stock market? And that individual at the time told me it takes $10,000 to invest in the stock market. And I think he felt like I would be taken aback by that number, that number would intimidate me. But you see, I had confidence in myself. I knew that I was going to pursue higher education and have that type of money. So that was really when that journey started. When he told me what it took, $10,000 became a goal in my mind. How do I get to $10,000 so that I can start participating in the market? I also took it as a challenge that the individual reach out to me, maybe in a mentor type way. And so I took that as a challenge to say, how to get the information. Because to your point, you said you were surprised I didn't have people around. My family just wasn't educated, not just on the stock market, but managing your finances, budgeting, just in general. So there really was no one that was in my immediate environment that was investing in stocks or even talking about money. Unfortunately, for a lot of families and a lot of friends, talking about money is that thing you don't do. But what that does is that restricts you, that restricts your kids, that restricts the next generations from being able to grow. So that's where TV kind of stepped in for me. But then, once I got that goal of how do I get to $10,000, then it became, okay, let me read Fortune magazine. Let me go to, when I'm at school in the library, back then, you had the daily, so I go to the library and take a look at the daily newspaper and follow stocks. In particular, the famous one back then was IBM, still a great company to this day. But I would follow IBM on a weekly basis and say to myself, if I had the 10,000, how much money would I be making if I was at IBM? Later, the same thing with Microsoft. And then I think there was a time in high school I was taking an accounting class, and our teacher, she rolled out a competition, and it was a stock picking competition with some of the students in class. And that really kind of took my game to the next level, because now all of a sudden I need to have a better understanding than just IBM or Microsoft, because she's requiring that we pick 5 stocks. So how do I pick them other than just name value? So now I start learning more about the fundamentals. What is a PE ratio? What is market cap? right? So at this point, I'm 16. Now I'm digging more into the fundamentals of how do you evaluate a company and understanding if you want to own individual stocks, you have to do that research.
Wow, this is great. You need to write a book, please. Honestly, honestly. Wow, that's crazy. And one thing, and as I almost asked the last question, I I hear a lot of early stages, and how you got in stock and all these different things. And for me, that's so encouraging because as a 14-year-old guy, that's so encouraging because you see people like in the 20s, 30s, the stereotypes, but it's possible to do it, in your early stages of your life, like your 10s, your 11s, your 12s, your 13s, like Zion. She just turned 13, little kid, but it's so crazy. You know what I mean? So yeah.
Malachi, let me jump in there.
Mm-hmm.
It's not possible to do it in your early ages. Yeah. It is actually easier to do it in your early stages. What you will find out, the typical American doesn't even get serious about even learning to invest until they're in their 40s. And they find out, oh, I'm so far behind in the game of building retirement money. What do I do to make up for it? And so a lot of times when I talk to people in their 30s and 40s, they're asking me for the Teslas, right? They're asking me for the Facebooks. They want to know about the high risk stocks. They can make a lot of money or lose a lot of money because they're not trying to get to $1 million at this point. They're just trying to get something in the bank to give them a little bit of cushion to their Social Security. When you talk about 13, 14, 15, 16-year-olds investing, you don't have to take on high risk. You can do it because you believe in the company, you believe in Tesla, self-driving cars, or the battery storage. You can take on that type of risk. You don't have to. You have the opportunity to invest in index funds. You have the opportunity to invest in solid funds, like we're talking about Disney, a stock you can hold for 100 years, right? So when you start younger, things are easier for you to become a multimillionaire. Your path is easier. And, a lot of times I talk about two numbers for youth, 10,000 and 100,000. $10,000. That's the first number for anyone who's under 18. You should be striving to accumulate $10,000 in investments prior to going to college or trade school. What that's going to do for you is almost guarantee that you're going to be a millionaire by the time you're 67. And that's if you just throw your money in an S&P 500 fund and forget about it. So that's the important number. And that's to say things become easier when you're younger. And then there's the 100,000 number that everybody should be striving for. And what that is I would love to see everyone, regardless of 13, 14, or 25, 26, 27, you should be making a push to have $100,000 in investments as early as possible. Because what happens is when you get to 100K, things become fun. Things become very fun because now when the stock market goes through a period like we just went through, 7, 8, 9, 10 years of investment growth, $100,000 turns into $500,000 very quickly, right? But I'll be honest, getting to that 100K, it seems like, oh, well, why am I, practicing so much self-discipline? Why am I holding back from buying the Nikes? Why am I holding back from buying a nicer car when my money only appreciates $1,000 or $2,000 a year? But when you get to $100,000 and you start seeing your money appreciating $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 a year, it gets exciting. And the next thing you know, you're at a point where you have $500,000, and maybe in a good year, your money might make more money than you made on your job. So that's the beauty of the age you guys are at. It's a blessing for you guys to be involved at such an early age.
Like I said, you please write a book. Please, okay, please. All right, so this is my last question that I have that we have actually. The question says, what is your top tip that you have for young people like us, young folks, as we start our journey?
Oh man, that's a hard one. There's so many, things that need to be done. I think that the main tip, and this is somewhat, it applies to, if you're going to be invested in the stock market, you need to have money available to invest. If you're going to make money in the stock market, you need to be disciplined and not move your money in and out of the market constantly, but certainly not moving money out of your investment accounts. So I think the top tip that I have for anyone is take care of your future self and don't steal from your future self. If you're practicing self-discipline to get money into the market, then you need to make sure that you let that money build wealth for you. If you're in a 401k at work and you switch jobs and they give you the option, hey, you can roll this over to your new company 401k, you can roll it over to a self-directed IRA, or you can have a check. Too many people are taking the check. Too many people are taking that check and buying cars and boats. So my number one tip is take care of your future self. Don't steal from yourself. Practice that self-discipline to get the money in and let it do its job, right? Let it do its job for you.
Now, that was really good, especially for our first interview. We had so many nuggets. Although you talked about this a little bit in the stock class, it's just good to hear it again. Great tips. For those that are watching, you should be jotting some notes on your notebook, because this is really good. This is from a professional. This is professional. So
remember, it's not that hard. Pick a strategy and stay consistent. If your strategy is buying dividend stocks, stay true to that strategy, right? If your strategy is, for me, it was referenced, I'm a big sci-fi head. A lot of times when I'm watching TV shows and I'm watching Star Wars and Star Trek, I'm looking at the technology and I'm saying, what companies are around today that could make that type of technology? And those are companies I invest in. And I stay true to that type of investment strategy. So pick your strategy and then don't outthink yourself. Stay true to it.
That's good. Well, we want to thank you for joining, for being our first interview. It's a great honor that you wanted to come here. I mean, you could have said no, but I'm glad that you chose to come. Okay, this is not school time. Anyways, we can't let you leave. I think the people want a winner.
Yeah.
So
just last sci-fi.
No, there's no more. There's no more. Just remember, Star Wars. That's it. Okay, you can go.
All right. So here's the thing. When you're looking between Netflix and when you're looking between Disney, I thought both your arguments were incredible. I loved it. I loved how Zion, all of a sudden, she's pulling out the Stranger Things shirt. That's fantastic. You guys did your research, which is important to know why you're investing in a company. But for me, it's an interesting question. Netflix versus Disney. I will tell you, I spend more time watching Netflix. However, I had to ask myself as I was listening to you guys, if I could only have one of the two services, because I do subscribe to both, which one would it be? And I would have to say it would have to be Disney. It's power of the brands. If I could only have one, understanding I watch twice as much Netflix, but if I could only have one, I need to have access to Marvel. I need to have access to Star Wars. I like the fact that Disney is rolling out some of their movies to the theater and then direct to their platform. I think that that's going to drive growth. I also like that it has a cheaper price point, and potentially in the future, Zai is right, Netflix has much more content, but Disney has levers they can pull. And namely, they're talking about, do they roll the content from Hulu into Disney Plus? And if they do that, wow, they just cut that content gap by a lot. So I'm gonna go with Disney Plus. I think that's definitely the winner today.
I hope in the next 7 episodes for this season that I will come out with the overall victory. But thank you, Mr. Christopher, Uncle C. We thank you for joining, and we hope to see you again.
I love you guys. You guys are doing something special for your community with this channel. So I applaud you. Great job.
So before we end this first episode, we have to head over to Malachi's segment, The Jokes. Now, we haven't heard it live, so our reaction is going to be honest. That's all I have to say. Malachi, go ahead.
So thank you all for having me on for this show. Special guest Malachi Jones. Thank you. I'm going to say a joke and I'm going to get out your guys' way. So in 1929, okay, 1929, that's a funny year. In 1929, there was a market crash, okay? There was a market crash in 1929. Now, in this time, everybody, okay, maybe Oprah wasn't alive back then. Whoopity-doo, okay, anybody alive back then, everybody was dumping their stocks, left and right. Everybody was dumping their stocks. Now, remember that, everybody was dumping their stocks. Remember that phrase. Somebody say it. They were dumping their stocks. Somebody say it. Wow, thanks for the no response. So anyway, everybody was dumping their stocks in 1929. And there's some relation to 1929 in the pandemic. Let me show you guys why. You guys know the toilet paper craze, right? In the pandemic, everybody was stocking up on toilet paper. Everybody was like, yeah, listen, this COVID-19 is gonna hurt my tummy. Let me get some toilet paper, you know? Everybody was stocking up on toilet paper. So you guys know how in 1929, here's the thing. In 1929, everybody was dumping their stocks. And COVID-19, the pandemic, everybody was stocking for their dumps. Thank you. That's all I had. You know, I'll be here all week.
So thank you guys for joining. We hope you guys enjoyed all of the segments. We hope you enjoyed Judah's stock market news of the week. We hope you enjoyed the best segment, the debating segment, where I will be the winner every time. Let's just go ahead and just clap up for Monique. Thank you, Judah. Just one clap. We hope you guys enjoyed the interview. We hope you got some notes, and we hope you enjoyed Malachi's corny segment.
It was the best segment.
So we hope you guys liked. We hope you guys just make sure to subscribe, like, and share this video with whoever you think needs it. And if you know anybody that would like to come and be interviewed on this show, then email us. The email will be in the description box below. So that is it. We are signing off, and we will see you next time for another episode of The Billionaires Club.